let's continue, right? So just where, so you say that to work with Nagish and the Black Art, it was really nice. So there were no contradictions in between you during writing process?
No. Nagish is the easiest guy to write with ever.
Okay.
And like he writes a lot of spiritual as well. Yeah, he's very easy to work with. Yeah.
So
But he's also he'll tell you if something's shit, he'll tell you it's shit. Like, you could go,
he was straight guy.
I've got this mad thing, and he's like, no, it's terrible. See you later. Like, he's very good at like just saying straight away, yeah, no. And I like that rather than someone going or not telling you. You know what I mean? It's way better that people are just straight up.
So he never keep inside. Yes, he just
No. He'll tell you what he thinks, man.
Yeah, so that's nice. And I know that there were some funny stories with you when you were touring with Nexus Polaris. Sarah Josebel Deva told me, right, that it was good time. So any funny stories from that period?
Nexus tour was okay. We had Children of Bodom on there, and that's where I met Alexei. Oh no, I met Alexei first. Before that, we played a few shows in Finland in I think '98, and I remember being backstage. We had just finished our sound check, and then we were sitting backstage, and Children of Bodom is doing their sound check, and all of a sudden, like I just hear this guitar player just shredding, and everyone just looked at each other and went, "What the fuck's that?" And I walked out and went, "This guy looks like he's 12, and like he's just an amazing player." You know what I mean? Like, and from then it was just they weren't signed to Nuclear Blast yet. They were just like a local band just supporting us, when we went there. And after that I just became good friends with him, because we connected very well. And then on the Nexus Polaris tour, that was Children of Bodom, us, and Hypocrisy and Benediction. It was the first one that we went out on, and they were really good dudes. I know all the Hypocrisy guys well because Peter, he recorded Spiritual, and he did Gola Savage Garden as well. So yeah, I knew him. But yes, Sarah was on that tour too. Yeah, she was. Sarah's really a lot of fun. I haven't talked to her for a while. But yeah, I don't have a lot of stories from that time. Just it was a party, man. That was a whole big party.
Yeah, that's what she told me.
Yeah, it was always party time with us. Even when we played with Cradle a lot in the first days. Obviously, that's how we got to know Nick, and yeah, it was a strange thing because like I used to just after we used to play, I'd go have a shower and then just get a milk crate and sit it next to Nick's drum kit and just sit there and just watch him play drums the whole time that Cradle played. Like I didn't care about how they were at the front. Like to me, it was just watching him was a masterclass of just like watching like a really good drummer.
Yeah, so he's just great, and especially you would playing with him for a long time. And as a person, he's okay because I met Nick in 2007. It was Glasgow. He was drum tech for Morbid Angel, so I had a him.
Was that Tim? Was that Tim playing or?
No. He just was doing. He was setting up the kit.
Who was playing in Morbid? Was it Pete or Tim?
It was drummer. Pete. Pete.
It was Pete. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was Pete. I remember he had some problems with his family, so I didn't talk to Pete. Trey was good, so we had a good chat with him as well as Nick Barker. So just and I just asked him, so why did you leave Demo? He said they just sent me text message, you fired. That's it. I thought we were
exactly.
I said, oh man, oh sorry to
hear. I knew that was gonna happen because the reason Nick is a big reason why I don't play. I stopped playing in Dimon because Puritanical. We just got back, as I said, like before, like 250 shows like in 1 year in 99. And then we got home, we started writing Spiritual. And because he was living in England, we did all the pre-production, all the songwriting was done at my house in Norway. By that time, I had built a studio, and that's where we were writing everything. And then we would send the tracks to Nick, and then I would fly over to England and, you know, go through it with him.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick's he doesn't like nobody telling him what to do. He, like, if I write a song, you know, he's like, well, I don't want to play this beat here. I don't want to play this beat there. And it just it just become really weird to write with him. He was hard to write with. And look, puritanical, as I said, I'm not going to talk numbers or percentages, but I wrote a lot of that album. And yeah, just getting it to work with Nick was pretty hard. And yeah, it was just, stuff became not really good, and it was just time to fucking, yeah, to just walk away. But I knew, and I did say that, yeah, Nick will be kicked out at least within the next or 2 years, because I just know how it is. And it's like the worst thing that Dimmu ever did is kick out Schuldorf to get Nick. If I could go back, I would never make that change. Because, and I was the one who had to kick Schuldorf out, because all the rest of them are there. They're his friends since they were child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in America, and at that time, when Nick left Cradle, straight away I was like, oh, we have to get this guy because he's the best drummer on the planet. And I talked to the other people. Nick talked to him on the phone. He flew to Norway.
Mm-hmm.
He played Spiritual perfectly from start to finish, like the first time, you know what I mean? But we had to play a festival in New Jersey Metal Meltdown. So we flew to New York and played the show, but we had already decided to get Nick in the band, but we had to keep Schuldorf around to play those last shows. And then we knew Nick, when we flew back to Norway, Nick was going to be waiting there. Like, he was turning up in the next 2 or 3 days to start rehearsing for another Spiritual tour. Mm. So someone had to tell Schuldorf that he wasn't in the band anymore. And they all looked at me and said, you're the one who has to do this. So I remember coming down in the hotel lobby the morning before we had to get on a flight to go back to America. And I said, I'm not going to do this on a plane. You know, and when I do it, I want you all to actually be there. So we're in the lobby, and I said, look, dude, when we get back to Norway, it's over. And he was not happy, my friend. As you can imagine, because we were just about to go out on this big tour where, you know, he's got, you know, life commitments and family, where he needed that job, you know what I mean? Also. So it was a hard thing to do, but and look, Nick was great, as I said, like playing with, he's the best drummer I've ever played with. He doesn't make a mistake. He's on it, and it made the band better live. But when I go back and listen to Spiritual, Schuldorf's a good fucking drummer. You know what I mean? Like, but he did make mistakes here and there, and you know, it's a thing of like, yeah, who can you get that's better? And better isn't always better, if you know what I mean. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a mistake. I wouldn't take it back, but I think it was a mistake changing drummer.
So just you would stay with Dimmu if Theodolf would stay, as far as I understand.
Well, it would have been easier, because yeah, as I said, me and Nick just had problems, even though we were best of mates and we had fun. But yeah,
So, but I read somewhere that the main reason for Theodolf was the reason to leave the band was because he just got a child, and so that is why he had to spend time with his family.
That's what you have to say.
Is that, yeah, that's what he had to say, but the reason you just said that there was another reason, like
because Nick is better. Yeah.
Yes, I was thinking about future of the band. Yeah,
yeah. Like if there's a better drummer available, you get them. And like for me, because I don't have that long time of being, I didn't grow up with him. You know, he wasn't a childhood friend. So to me, it's just, and because I'm in Norway just to play music. You know what I mean? Like I have no family, no friends, no nothing. So to me, the best person, I want to get a better person in the band because it makes a better job. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I didn't realize that, you know, better isn't always better as a group. You know what I mean?
So, so Nick, yeah. By the way, just regarding live performances, because as you know, I'm doing guitar covers
Yeah.
of Timo Borger, right? And so I see that you played some parts different live, they differ from the album.
Yes. What specifically are we talking about?
Yeah, just I mean, like the ending riff of the Promise Future Aeon, Selena's plays it different. It differs from what he's playing on the album. Then there are some beats from Reptile. So just it's yeah, just where there was drum breakdown. Doesn't matter. Then we will discuss it in our private chat regarding all these papers. And
No, I know, but I'm trying to think that I can maybe it wasn't probably on purpose. There probably was. I know that there's one thing that was different live was of spiritual. There's one solo that I'd never played live that was at an end of a song, and the only reason why is because yes, right. So the at the end, it's just like a bullshit thing at the end. And the only reason why I didn't do that live is because it's on spiritual. Like Dimmu always played in E, standard E, but on spiritual in the studio, I played in B. So whenever I could use like the top B string to just do something a bit heavier, I did that. But live, you can't have both. You can't, you know, so I never had that. I just didn't have the extra string because I didn't have a 7 string because I really don't like playing them. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's the only thing that I remember that I never did. The only time I did do it, I think I only did it once or twice, and that was because like I think I broke a string on the B guitar and I just had to play an E for that song. But yeah, mostly I tried to play pretty much close, but Selenos is that's the thing with me and him. We didn't tell each other what to play. Like I just played what I played, he played what he played, and if it worked, it worked. Like yeah.
So
he's very different guitar player, man. He's very solid rhythm player, and I like playing with him because he doesn't make mistakes. He just turns up and he plays. But musically, we're completely apart. You know what I mean? Just because we had to make a vocabulary between ourselves of how to how to talk to each other, not just as in guitar wise. Not as I said, he's a really good player. It's just that he's just self-taught and a bit different, but still great.
Yeah, that's nice. So it was easy to work with them. I mean, in studio with Shagrat and with Selenos.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're good guys.
So you had in 1998, Godless Savage Garden, right? Like only 2 new songs: Chaos Without Prophecy and Moonchild Domain.
And they're both mine.
That's
and it was weird because, as I said, like we had just done an Enthroned tour, and I was just playing live at that point, and then they said like, you know, we'd like you to stick around for a while and play with us, and there were just 2 songs that I had. They're a bit more doomy, a bit more slower, but I wanted to. That's just the things that was in my brain at the time. Like, yeah, they're different. Chaos Without Prophecy is different. Moonchild's okay and different, but as I said, it's there's a lot of classical stuff in there too. That's just where I wanted to. I was writing Nexus at the same time as Godless Savage, so.
So, but solo on Moonchild was great, really great. So, but anyway, so yeah, you had to record something in 1998. Otherwise, it was like so when you release nothing for a long time, just actually, if we do not count Girls Savage Garden, so there is one year gap in between Throne Darkness and Spiritual Black Dimension.
Yeah.
And so you didn't tour in 98, right?
No, 98, we did all the summer festivals.
Oh.
No. We played a lot in that. We did Enthroned. We did a lot of Enthroned. We were always out there in 98 for sure. Yeah. No, there was a lot of shows, especially in the summer. Like we did Dynamo, Wacken, like we did all the festivals like in the summer of 98. I think we went to studio in it was like the end of 98, like 99, I suppose. Yeah, the start of 99. But we used to rehearse like 5 days a week. Like we were together all day, every day, like writing and doing everything. Everything happened really quick for Spiritual. Because it just worked. And yeah, getting Mistus in the band was a big help too, because you can play you can play something to Mistus once and he plays it back perfect. I don't know. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah, so that man is awesome as well. So, but
Yeah, he's a freak.
how long did it take to get all this material for the album?
For Spiritual?
Yeah.
I reckon we wrote that album pretty fast. I reckon about 4 or 5 months.
For the whole album, it took you 4 or 5 months to compose the whole album.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, it was, as I said, we were rehearsing 4 or 5 days a week. Like that's all we did. No one had jobs. No one worked. Like, no. I think someone else might have had a job. But yeah, 4 or 5 days a week, we was getting up, getting a bus to rehearsal, stay there 8 hours a day, just write together. And then, yeah, come home, go the next day. Like it was just, yeah, it was, by that time, it was a rolling machine.
So, and the Spiritual Black Dimensions is famous with your solos, right? Because
Sure.
if you take a look back to these days, like all the black metal
Not
bands
many people
doing
doing it.
albums, there are no solos, so no melody. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, no melody, right? Because your solos, there are lots of classical things in it. And how did you come to it? So you broke the system of black metal, I would say, and Ishan is doing good solos as well, and
Yeah.
his album Nine Equilibrium is great as well. I love it. And how did you come to the solos? Because okay, just you started in 98 with Godless Savage Garden, so solos are great, and so just you made your mind to bring all these solos to Spiritual Black Dimensions just to make some variety,
Yeah, because as I
you
said,
just were
like
playing the music, you didn't come to it deliberately or something like that.
no, because as I said, I always grew up listening to solo guitar players. I always, yeah, grew up listening to Marty Freeman, Alex Skolnick, even like Kerry King, just Jeff Hanneman. Like I really enjoyed solos, but it was yeah, I just enjoy playing the melodies and the solos. I don't know how I come up with them. Like I don't really think about it that much. I just listen to it, and like we don't say, okay, verse, chorus, Jay, put a solo here. Like I'll just go, this is where I'm playing. This is where I'm going to play a solo, and I just, yeah, whatever comes out comes out. I knew it was going to be very different, and I wasn't sure if people were going to like it or not like it. It's black metal, and nobody has really done that before. But I had to give it a go. You know, like it was just putting yourself out there, and seeing if it worked. And once we did Godless Savage Garden, I was like, yeah, this is gonna work. And then on Spiritual, I was like, yeah. So we recorded Spiritual for like 6 weeks. And then everyone left the studio. I stayed in the studio and I recorded Mirrored Hate Painting straight after Spiritual because I had that written as well. So I just went from like doing Spiritual Black Dimension solos straight into recording Mirrored Hate Painting. And me and Naga stayed there and everyone else went home. And so I was just, yeah, I just carried that over into Mirrored Hate Painting as well. And once I got on that path of just like, yeah, I'm going to be doing these melodic solos, it worked out.
Yeah,
But I don't know where they come from. I cheat a lot, man. People like I'm the biggest cheater on guitar ever. Like I don't just get like a riff and say, okay, this is in the key of C or in the key of G or whatever. Like I break down the riffs into very small parts where I'm like C, G, F sharp, and I change to all of those. I don't just do a whole key. You know what I mean? Like I
See what I
change,
mean?
my key changes like every chord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so basically what my goal is I want to play a solo. And if you mute the guitars behind, like if you take out the guitars behind the solo, I still want you to hear the chords from the solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because Kirk Hammett or somebody else, they just stay in the same blues key or the same key all the time where I move every chord to a new key because
Great.
it's cheating. It's just it's a cheat code.
But
You
it
know what I mean?
works. Anyway, it works and it sounds great. It sounds great, by
Yeah,
the
and
way.
that's what I'm saying. So it's really for me, that's just the easiest way to do it because to take the whole structure, like to take the whole solo riff and to do it is like, yeah, as I said, I just break it down to every chord and then I'll just change keys every bar just to make sure that that's where it works and just arpeggiate pretty much from one place to the next without having to worry about staying in the same place. And always when I record guitar solos, I'll record them and then I'll just mute the guitars that are behind them and I just listen to the solo and the drums and the bass guitar. And if I can still hear the riff without listening to the guitars from the solo, then I'm like, that's where I'm at because as I said, I'm shifting the whole time. It takes longer to do it. It takes longer, but that's just something that I like to do.
So just regarding Behind the Curtains of Night, Phantasmagoria, right? So it has so
Oh,
many jazz elements.
Phantasmagoria. I think that's the first song I wrote on for Spiritual.
So, but it's more
That was
desert, it's more death stuff than black metal stuff. So it was like an experimental album or something like that.
no. I don't know, man. I remember like coming to rehearsal studio, and I would say I've got these riffs, and yeah, I had all the riffs, but then Mistus had that diddly 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 diddly. He come up with. I just had the dun, dun, dun for that little bar, and then he was just like, he just goes, "Oh, play that again," and he was like diddly 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 diddly. I was like, "Ah, oh, perfect," you know. But
You combine it.
yeah, and it worked really well. But I remember the first riff. That's different. That is a different song that is on the rest of the album I speak. But yeah, but I think that was one of the first ones that I had written for Spiritual. And once you put it all together, that's what I mean. Like you write your thing, Mistus did his, Shagroth comes along and goes, okay, I know what's happening here. He does well. Silenos does his thing, and it always works, man.
So you want to say that this actually this one was just it was not supposed to be on the album, so you just made it in studio, right? Because you had beats.
No spiritual. No. Yeah, what the fuck is the name of the song?
Phantasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria. No. That was done. That was written, rehearsal studio done. The only song that I pieced together in the studio was Arcane. That was just me and Kenneth writing Arcane I had the intro riff and some other stuff, but that was the last song that we wrote for that album. That was pretty much just me and Shuldoff just putting it together in the last days that we had to do drums. Like we pretty much just put Arcane together there. But the main guitar riff, that's Lenos's riff. But he wasn't there at the time, but he had already showed me that riff. And so I was like, and that's where we put it. But yeah, definitely there. That main that's Selenos's riff.
Yeah, the opening riff when in the beginning, right?
Yeah, where it's just like after the intro and everything, like, you know, but I like the intro was just like I had this clean thing, and then when it comes in, I was just thinking I wanted Metallica, like just a fucking, you know, Metallica thing where it's just and then I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but you know, once everything, as I said, that's the genius about Dimmu is like, it's not one person doing something or two, but it's like when everyone puts it together, that's when it works because they all have their own flavor to put on there, you know.
Yeah, so just regarding riff writing, so as far as I understand, the whole album was composed, but I read somewhere like Muses wrote like 80% or 60%, whatever, but more than 50%, I mean, of keyboards. And so just regarding as for riffs, so guitars, you and Nagash, right? And a little bit Selena. So what was the contribution?
I don't like to talk numbers.
Let's skip this question.
No.
The result is perfect.
It's fine. Like what I'm saying, like I think it's a good split between me and Nagash and Selenos. I reckon it's 33% each. Like it's, you know, yeah. And with keyboards, yeah, Mister's pretty much, but Shagaroth writes a lot of keyboards as well.
Yeah, but anyway, teamwork is teamwork, so it's done.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But yeah, Shagaroth definitely did write. He does write keyboards. He's good at doing the slow endings to songs. Like we go, oh, we need this, and he does like, you know, where it just stops and it just like he'll do that. But Mister's comes up with all of his stuff pretty much. But yeah, guitar wise, yeah, I think it was split. Would have been split evenly.
Now, and so just wanted to ask another one question, but I almost forgot it because we're having good conversation. So just
sure.
I didn't follow my list of the questions I sent to you before. But anyway, yeah. Just you said that you left Dimmu Borgir just because of Nick Barker, right? Or you? No. Sorry.
Don't phrase it that way.
Yeah.
It was other things, but like, it was.
What was the reason? Just tell me, what was the reason? Why did you parted your way with Dimmu Borgir? So what was the final word? How did it happen?
It was a writing thing. It was just me and Nick. We weren't getting along of what should be played on the album. I wanted drums to be this way. He wanted it to be another way. And maybe I was young and hard-headed, and yeah, but it was we just had a problem. Look, I wish it didn't happen, but yeah, it just wasn't going to work. So yeah.
So you didn't have any conflict with Selenas, with Shagrat, so everything was fine.
No.
But you just said, guys, listen, not gonna. work like that?
No, they said that to me. They said to me as well. They were just like, like, you aren't getting along. It's gonna be hard to do this, and yeah, just basically, yeah, it's weird. And then I seen Tommy pop up, and Tommy's a weird dude now. I like Tommy as well, but he's a different person too, because now he pretty much wrote all their stuff after that. I'm guessing because I hear it and it's just like, it sounds like Tommy to me.
You mean Golder, right?
Yeah, Golden. Sorry, Golden.
Yeah, Tom Ron Anderson, so we know them, but
Yeah.
just in case. So
But he
yeah,
was the perfect. He's the perfect person to come into that band because he's always wanted to be in Dimmu. Like he is just, yeah. Like he was the first person. Like when we come back from recording Godless, or the first day when we come back from recording Spiritual, he was at my house ready to listen to the new stuff. Like he just loves that band. He's the perfect person to be in that band.
yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
he
Like he
can't do
just,
such solos as you did. So what? Yeah, as riff
yeah. Look,
guitarist, he's good. I like
look,
Oldman's Child.
I understand it, but yeah, he really wanted to be in that band, and I'm glad that he got the chance to do that because he's a good writer as well. But yeah, he's
Yeah,
a good writer. I think Old Man's Child, like around that time that we're doing Spiritual, like we even had this, like we had the cover of Spiritual with the chick and the wings, and the next album he did was exactly the same too. Like, he really, I think, was inspired and really liked that band. Not that he, like as I said, I do like Old Man's Child. But yeah, I think he was the right choice at the time to do that stuff. But the only other person that they could ever get to go in Dimmu that kind of could sound like me is August from Arcturus, and that's it. Because he was doing solos at the same time as I was, even a little bit before. Arcturus, like, yeah, August is a very good guitar player.
yeah. And just another question. Another question was about I see S Vortex Siemens Hastanes